Hello and welcome to EV Review Ireland. My name is Derek Reilly. Today we are looking at the Nissan ARIYA. It's the second time you've had it on the channel. The first video is from a couple of months ago and it was a first drive, first impressions. But today we're going to take a bit more of a detailed look at it and why I think you should consider it versus the Volkswagen ID4, ID5, Skoda Enyaq. So let's get started. Starting off with the aesthetics on the outside, and I think it's an absolutely stunning car. And when I saw this first, very similar to the Citroën EC4, I didn't know whether I was a fan of it or not, but after driving it for the week and seeing it on the road and seeing people's reactions to it, it's probably one of my favorite electric vehicles. And it's by no means perfect, and in any relationship there's a bit of give and take. What we have here is a stylistically, I think, something much more modern and much more standing out on the road. Starting off, you've got this gloss black nose, and then you've got this shield area going on, and you've got some styling in underneath that gloss black. In certain markets, this Nissan badge is illuminated, but not in a European market. You've got this really thin row of headlights and these daytime running lights, these DLRs. You've got the space for the towing hitch. I always thought these should have been the fog lights, but they're actually the parking sensors front and side. And then you've got the fog lights in underneath with that gloss black and the air into the battery cooling. You can hear the battery on there now just because I've got the lights on. So stylistically, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. Comes in a couple of different colors, the reds, the blues, the coppers was a big one that was being used. And there is no storage area in underneath the front here before you ask. Moving down along the side, you have that wheel arch to give you that SUV 4x4 look. Wheels comes in 19s and 20s. This is the upper trim, comes in two different battery sizes as well. So this is the 20-inch. Charging port is on the front passenger side. On AC, currently it's 7.4 kilowatt, but they will be giving the option for 22 kilowatt. And then on DC it's up to 130 kilowatt. On a home charger, on the smaller standard size battery, you're going to be getting it charged in about 10 hours. And then on the larger battery, it's about 13 hours. And then 10 to 80% on the 130 kilowatt takes about 30 odd minutes. Glass black wing mirror, retractable with the indicator built in. You've got a glass black roof. This has this sky pack or the sunroof that it does open as well. So it is that two-tone color. And then like a lot of these electric SUVs, you've got this silver roof line that takes away from the eye the actual height of it. Size-wise, it's wider, longer and taller than the Nissan Qashqai. Body colored with keyless entry. You've got a glass black panel in underneath. And then you've got this beautiful back end, very coupe-like. So as much as it's similar pricing to the ID4, it's probably better compared looks-wise to the ID5 with that sloping roofline, coupe-like styling. But overall, I think the amount of looks that it gets on the road, it's something different. And if you are looking for something that's not the best-selling electric vehicle in Ireland, this is currently the ID4, and you see a lot of them on the road in the Volkswagen Group. Now, the allocation for the rest of the year here in Ireland for the Nissan ARIYA has been already sold, so we're looking at 2023 sales coming in. Let's have a look around the back. Down along the back, you've got your shark fin aerial, you've got the full width spoiler with some inlets inside in it, you've got your high level brake light, you've got your rear wiper, which is great, Nissan spelled out, and you've got your tail side to side brake light. Very plain, actually, nothing. You've got a small bit of design work inside in that, but nice to get it all the way across. You've got the ARIYA badging here, and like I said on the first review, you're probably going to get E-Force, which is that four-wheel drive version of it. Glass black in underneath, a lot of glass black going on, and you've got your rear diffuser. 360 cameras on this model, and you've got your button underneath here, three little beeps, power tailgate on the upper trim. 460 odd litres in this boot, and then if you get the all-wheel drive, so it comes in standard battery with the two trims, larger battery with the two trims, then you've got the E-Force, and that's the four-wheel drive, and then there's going to be an E-Force Performance. So there are some split floors, etc, etc, and if you get the all-wheel drive version, this brings it back down to about 400 litres. Space-wise, and what else is in here? Some shopping bag hooks, some lights, some side pockets, some tie-off points. I can't see a 12 volt. And there's even more in underneath there. No spare wheel like a lot of electric vehicles, but you've got your domestic charger in there. Nice flat floor, and when your seats are down, that puts it down to about 1400 litres as well. Let's have a look on the inside. What's it like on the inside of the Nissan ARIYA? So on the door, you have your memory presets on the upper level trim. So in Ireland, the upper level trim, the only options you have are the change of wheels up to 20 inch, and then the other option is the Napa leather, the blue leather here. So well spec'd. And then on the entry level trim, in Advance we're calling them Advance. In Ireland we're calling them Advance and Evolve. And then in Ireland the only options then you get on that trim is Sky Pack, which is that's included in the upper level one, Techno Pack, which is the rear view mirror camera, which is on this version, and then you've got that Bose sound system as well. So on the door you've got memory presets, you've got all the buttons, and you've got that styling, that Japanese woodwork, lantern work kind of design. You've got suede on the top, which is really nice, some soft plastics, and then that Napa leather in the door pocket, on the door handle, and a good big door bin. You've got this faux wood, fake wood across the center console. You've got the climate control built into it, and I found it fairly responsive all week. I know some people are being like, touch, but there is a haptic, which is good. In front of the driver's position, you have a 12.3 inch screen that's connected, and it's in lovely little Z or S shape across to the infotainment screen. But in front of the driver, in front of my knee, I've got heated steering wheel, steering assistance. Interesting. You've got your information on the head-up display, you've got our automatic handbrake, you've got your timer button for your charging, and then you've got the button to open the electronic tail lift, which is on the upper trim. Steering wheel, we talked about this before in my first review, but it's really nice. 2-spoke. Left hand side is volume, tracks, menu selection. On the right hand side is Pro Pilot for Nissan, and you have your speed control, voice control, etc., etc. I'd love, not that we're ever going to get it, but this Nissan badge with that white inlay into it, if it was illuminated, but we're not going to get that nice little silver detail at the bottom. Behind that then, you have the ability to adjust it up, down, in and out, reach and rake. Left-hand side is lights and wipers. Sorry, left-hand side is lights, right-hand side is wipers. And so, yeah, good. The driver infotainment, the driver screen there isn't a lot going on there, but there's enough. Sometimes there's a lot going on these screens, and you also have that head-up display, which is good to see. Moving across then to the main infotainment screen, sharpness isn't great, but you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and it is full screen. So other manufacturers, take note. I know that Google Automotive Services might be charging you a bit more to give you the full screen, but on a landscape screen, you can get full screen across, so it's great to see. Underneath that then, you've got your copper, so even though this isn't a copper tunnel externally, you're going to have a copper accented line all the way through, and so it's vents. You also have your hazards, you have some forward and back on your audio stuff, so skipping tracks. Then you've got a physical button for volume, and you can turn the radio or music on or off. You've got your climate control underneath, you've got your power button for the actual car, and a nice flat floor with a bit of ambient light with that Japanese woodwork, lantern work in underneath it. Moving back to the main event then, you have the ability to have this center console, and on the upper level trim it does move forward and back. I think once you set it, it is what it is. Maybe when you have people in the back, you'll move it forward, and if you know people in the back, you move it back. So if you have a lot of different people in and out, but on the standard level trim, that is not electronically adjusted. You have your drive modes built into this, again, fake wood, faux wood. You've got the automatic handbrake. Automatic parking, apologies. You've got e-pedal, we're going to talk about that out when we're driving. I like to leave it on. And then you've got the ability to have this little shelf open and close. Could have been a drawer, really, saves the weight. And so there's a bit of storage there. People talk about putting their laptop up there. In the actual center console itself, you have the ability to charge USB type A and C, and a 12 volt with some nice charging on there. So that's where I've been leaving my phone all week. You've got some cup holders nicely covered up there, and then you have the ability of wireless charging in behind here as well with a little tray. So good. Probably doesn't need to be this big. If you had armrests on the actual seats, you could probably limit that down a bit. Glove box is a pair of gloves. Alcantara, that suede is nice. I'd say underneath the dash where you're using it to anchor your hand and touch the screens, I'd say that's going to get grubby kind of soon. And this is what we're talking about. I really like this car, and if I was to have to buy an SUV myself, this is definitely up there, and it's in that price bracket of a Volkswagen ID4, ID5, Skoda Enyaq. It's definitely in my top 3. This a bit more expensive. You got the Ford Mustang Mach-E. But yeah, as much as the screen isn't sharp, as much as that bit of suede is going to get a bit grubby, I really like it. And that Sky Packer on the top treadle trim, it's at that opening, and you've got a blind on that as well. Seats are really comfortable. They're heated and cooled on this level. Have to go into the menu to operate them, which is a small bit of a user interface, kind of a setback, but electronically adjusted. So this is set for me, so when I get in, the seat moves back and the steering wheel moves up, which is always nice. I'm 6'2", 188 centimeters. Let's have a seat in the back, but in a minute I'm going to talk about the head unit. You've got your sunroof open close, blinds open close, and sunglass holder. And remembering if the Ford Mustang had a sunglass holder as well, maybe that's the deciding factor for me. And then you have the option of the rear view camera, which obviously turns into a mirror as well if you don't want the camera on. I've been using that day and night a lot this week with a lot of nighttime driving. Find it really good. So yeah, let's have a seat in the back. What's it like in the back of the Nissan ARIYA? And you have to hand it to Nissan. Look at the opening of these doors. They're nearly 90 degrees. As I said, I'm 6'2", 188 centimeters. Like lots of space there. On the door itself, you've got that soft plastic. Let's see if they go all the way down. For kids in the back, they don't, unfortunately. You've got that suede, which is really nice, and you've got that blue Napa leather and some of that design work. Small little pocket for a bottle, etc. You've got your ambient light. You've got your grab handle, which I found a small bit far back, which is unusual. Usually they're a bit more up here, and a little coat hook there. Headrests look really nice from the rear. And there's a bit of viewing, you can get in around it. There's interesting that wipeable fabric. You've got your magazine holder, and on the upper level trim you've got heated seats on the 2 outside seats, USB Type A and USB Type C, and that center console moves forward and back. 2 adults comfortably in the back, and a smaller adult in the middle, or a child, or definitely 3 children, no problem there. 2 ISOFIX, and they're hidden behind some zips, and you have your armrest with your 2 large cup holders here. 60-40 split in the rear, and they seem a bit far back, so let's have a little look if we can move them forward. Yeah, there is an incline in it. I thought there was an incline in it, so it can be locked there. Yeah, it's not as, you can get more space in the boot then as well. Headroom, because of that sunroof, you've got maybe 2 or 3 centimeters for me. Legroom we talked about, good. I've got some space in underneath the seat as well. Yeah, good. Really like it. Definitely, you can definitely see the space internally when you're on that dedicated electric platform. And this is on the CMF platform, which is the same as the Renault Megane, but just that next form factor up with the SUV. Nice seats. Good space, small bit, it'd be nice if there was a small bit more thigh support, but not bad at all. Let's take it out for a drive. What's it like driving the Nissan ARIYA? This is the front wheel drive version. We didn't have any other version yet in Ireland, but there will be the E4 all-wheel drive version, and then there's going to be the E4 Performance. And this comes in 2 different battery sizes. Not much in the difference in the power. The 63 kilowatt hour battery has a 160 kilowatt motor on the front wheels, giving you 218 PS and 300 newton meters of torque. And then the 87 kilowatt hour battery has a 178 kilowatt hour motor on the front axle, giving you 242 PS and 300 newton meters of torque. Let's start with visibility. And out of the rear, it's actually not bad. The headrest, the middle headrest isn't too large. It is a small because of that coupe styling. But on the upper level trim, you have the camera. And a really good choice. And recently in the Renault Megane as well, they know that the visibility is not great, so they're putting in this camera. This camera has been used day and night, and in the rain, no problem, the window wiper catches it within its swipe. So visibility out the rear with the camera is good, without the camera, it's not bad. Good large wing mirrors, with those blind spot warnings. A lot of safety equipment included as standard across all trims on the Nissan ARIYA, so it's really good to see. It's really just aesthetically in the trim levels, like the upper level trim level, you've got the blue seats and apple leather, and then you also have the ability to have the higher size, the 20-inch alloys. But standard across the Nissan range here in Ireland anyway, the specification is really good. Some really good driver assists, and that Pro Pilot, Nissan have been using it a lot in the Nissan Leaf, so it isn't their first time at this stance. Steering wheel, as I said in the first review when I did the driving impressions around Mondello Park here, a race circuit here in Ireland, I really liked it. It's that leather clad one, dual spoke, good visibility for the driver. So steering wheel is good. Seating position, it's a funny one. When I got in first, and I'm 6'2", 188 centimeters, I felt that, oh, I'd love if the seat went down a bit. And I still do feel that I'd like to be a small bit lower with that battery pack in underneath. And it is the bigger battery pack, but I don't think it makes a difference whether it's the small or the large battery pack. You're going to be, you're high up. It's definitely a high seating position. But after the week, and as I said at the start, I really like the Nissan ARIYA, and it'd definitely be on my consider list, top 3. It's this. Skoda Enyaq is hard to beat for practicality, but it's very traditional looking with that grille on the front of it, and the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Those would be my top 3 SUVs. Don't forget the MG ZS if you're looking for a bit of value. But quality, fit, finish and feel, I'd put this with the Mustang Mach-E, which is much more expensive, and the Skoda Enyaq, this is very similar to it. Suspension is nice. It is multi-link and strut. So yeah, the ride quality is really smooth. As we said, it's already very quiet. Pickup is good with regards to both. Electric motors have 300 newton meters of torque. It's just the PS and the horsepower. It's a slight difference. 160 on the smaller battery and 174. So that gives you about 220 and then 240 PS. So it's an interesting one. But usability, functionality, yeah, it's good. Can't knock it. You will take it for a test drive. Let me know in the comments if this is on your list. Have you ordered one? Did you get one? Were you one of the lucky ones that got it in the first batch? We haven't got new prices in Ireland because the initial allocation has been sold out. So at the standard size battery with the front wheel drive, single motor, it was starting around about just under 50,000 euros, which was good. And then we had the upper level trim. So this is the bigger battery, higher level trim, was around 67,000 euros. Not cheap, don't get me wrong, but you're going to be paying that for ID4, ID5, Skoda Enyaq once you start tacking on all the extras. And this is very well spec'd. So as I said, let me know in the comments if this is on your list, if you're thinking about it. Have you got one already? So there were the original prices. Can't see them going down. Now maybe Nissan will be able to bring it in a bit more affordable. Time will tell. Love that integration with the Android Auto with the mirroring and the full screen. I'm so annoyed with some of these manufacturers that have this little Android logo on the right hand side and then a smaller screen. As I say, just pay the money. Give Google the money, because as users, the difference in it. I'd like that screen to be a bit of a higher resolution. With these larger wheels, you will feel the undulations on the road and the potholes, etc. But overall, it's fairly good. On a drive to 12,000 subscribers on the channel before the end of the year, we hit our 10,000 subscriber milestone early, which was phenomenal, and thank you very much for that. Yeah, the Nissan ARIYA. It's definitely one I've changed my mind on. And as I said, I've probably fallen a bit in love with it just because the styling, the ride quality, it's not super fast, it's not super torquey, it's there if you need it and if you stick it into sport mode. So with the drive modes down here, straight away you feel everything tighten up, and this is the same as what happened with the Nissan ARIYA. When we had it out on the racetrack as well. E-pedal drive, so with the driving modes, you have D, which is your regular regenerative braking, which is free rolling, no regen. B mode, then, which is your two-stage regenerative braking, and then you've got E-pedal. So it's in E-pedal now, and it, unfortunately, and I did a roll and stop in Mondello, and I did it here as well, it will slow you down significantly, but it won't stop you. So it is not one pedal driving, which I miss, because the Nissan Leaf has one pedal driving, and a lot of other vehicles have one pedal driving. So it's funny that after selling over 500,000 Nissan Leafs, they've gone away from that one pedal mode, even though e-pedal is really good. Range on the smaller battery, they're saying about just over 400, 405, and then real world, that's probably around the 330, 335, and then depending on the top level trim, whether you go for the single front wheel drive, all wheel drive, or the performance, it's saying around that 500 kilometer range. 530 is the WLTP on this one. Real world, you're talking mid 400s, and that's just the difference between WLTP and the actual real world driving. Another thing that I like about the Nissan ARIYA is the seats. They're really nice and comfortable, and it also has the ability of being air cooled and heated. And so what I like on it is, it's great having cooled seats and heated seats, but there's an automatic mode, so once you set that temperature, it regulates the heat and the temperature of the actual seat. So smart thinking. Hopefully you've enjoyed my review of the Nissan ARIYA. Second look. If you're looking for more driving impressions, have a look at the other video. I'll link it on the screen and also on the description. Remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.